Alright, so today I'm going to be wearing a Casio G-Shock for the first time. G-Shock is a brand of watches made by Casio that are known for being high quality, durable, and very shock resistant. And overall, I have kind of been wanting a G-Shock for some time now. I quite like the look of them, they look really comfy to me, and I've just heard great things about the quality of them, so I figured, hey, why not pick myself up one eventually? But before I had the chance to buy myself a G-Shock, one of y'all was actually kind enough to contribute one to the channel for me to make a video all about and then to wear after the fact. Thank you so much to Mr. Kilgore for having been kind enough to provide a G-Shock watch to the channel, to me, for me to make a video all about, for me to wear in general. Thank you so much once again to Mr. Kilgore. I really, really, really do appreciate the contribution to the channel, and I am very excited to wear a G-Shock for the first time today and to find out just what I think of the brand as a whole based off this one experience at least. But what is the watch that I'm actually going to be wearing today? What is the watch that Mr. Kilgore was kind enough to contribute to the channel? What is going to be the first ever G-Shock watch that I'm going to be wearing during today's video? Well, what I've got with me today is the G-Shock DW9052GBX-1A9, which is a watch that is a part of the 9052 line of G-Shocks, which was first introduced in 2012 and was supposedly used for some years by the American military. Although how true that actually is up for debate. And yes, I did have to write down the actual name of this watch on a sticky note prior to this video because this is like a 9-character password that I would never remember. I had to write it down and read from it because otherwise I wouldn't have remembered what the name of this watch is. But that's the watch I have with me today. I do suppose without further ado, I should probably go ahead and quickly go over the packaging. Now, shouldn't I? After that, I'm thinking I should probably go ahead and get the box all opened up, go ahead and take a look at what's actually inside the box, and then after that, I'm thinking we should probably take a look at the watch itself, go ahead and get it on my wrist and see just how much I actually like G-Shock watches based off this one experience at least. As said, first off though, we've got to go over the packaging, and let's start with the top of the box. We can see we get overall a black background. However, on one side of the box, we get some dots just becoming more and more and more distinct, more and more and more intense, starting in the middle of the, well, design right here around about. Those dots are just very much that of a gray, and they get just deeper and deeper and deeper until it folds around and becomes pretty much just the only color that we can see over here. On this side of the packaging, we can see there's a little bit of a faded red line made up of those dots as well, and it just says G-Shock right there in white. Overall, a pretty nice look for the top of the packaging, in my personal opinion, and the design for this packaging does indeed stretch around, not just over here, but also over here as well, because we can see we get a black background over here. The black background stretches around, and then we also get a red line that stretches up as well. I love packaging with designs that stretch around, well, the packaging, and that's exactly what this design is doing, so I love to see it. This red line does start to fade just a little bit, as it is already fading just a little bit as it gets to the top right there, and that looks fantastic if you ask me. Moving on below the line, we can see it just says G-Shock right there, all in red. And that is on a black background on the top, but it goes to that gray background towards the bottom once again, and we can see this sort of I'd have to say, I'm trying to think of the right way to put this sort of diffusion of, well, maybe not diffusion, but infusion? No, I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. But this sort of change of design, I guess, is really the best way to put it. This sort of change of design, it doesn't just happen on this side of the packaging, it actually happens all the way around. We can see it on this side as well, on the back as well, although there are some other things like this hole in the middle of the packaging. We'll cover this in just a minute though, but we can also see it happen on the opposite side. There's no red line right here, as there's no red line on the top of the packaging, but it does indeed just say G-Shock once again, pretty much the exact same design, but without this red line. As said, on this side, there's really nothing too much going on. We just see the diffusion of the gray right there, and then on this side, we can just see there's some text, a little bit of a hole right there with the manual in it and whatnot, and we can see this text is just all in Japanese, as Casio and G-Shock are indeed a Japanese brand, and it's just telling us how to throw away this packaging. Moving moving on to the bottom, we can see it's all gray. Nothing really too much interesting going on, but the design does indeed stretch around as it starts off with the gray over here and then goes to a full gray on the bottom. That's pretty nice in my personal opinion. Overall, I think this packaging has a pretty nice, mildly sporty, I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. It's got like a mildly sporty, mildly like almost sort of futuristic design, and I really like that. Like, that's kind of what G-Shock goes for as a whole with their aesthetic. They go for a sort of semi-futuristic design a lot of times with a little bit of retroness in there, these days at least, but with that sportiness in there as well, and I do think that this packaging definitely does do a good job of getting that point across. Overall, I think this packaging looks great. Without further ado, let's go ahead and now get the box all opened up, and let's go ahead and take a look at what's actually inside it. On the top, we can see the watch right there. Before we go ahead and actually take a look at the watch, I am just gonna get it out, and I'm also going to just put it down on the ground so we can see everything else inside the box. We can see there is a little bit of a manual right here that is just all about, I'm honestly not sure. This is city code table. I'm not really exactly sure what this is for, in all honesty, but this is for something, I am sure. But we got a nice piece of paper right there. That's probably a manual for the watch. I built different, so I don't need that. No, I do need that. Absolutely, I am not throwing that away. I do not know how to operate watches without a manual, I will acknowledge. I'm not very good at operating watches without manuals. We also get a little bit of a warranty card as well. It just says Casio G-Shock warranty card right there with a carbon fiber background. Of course, this card is not actually made out of carbon fiber though, but pretty nice warranty card. It just says Casio America, Casio Canada, Casio Mexico marketing, and just has a shock resistant stuff right there and everything like that kind of thing. Is there anything else inside this besides the warranty card itself? So we see the warranty card, and then we just get the international warranty regulations as well with pretty much the same design on it. Just letting us know, I guess, exactly what warrants a warranty coverage or not. On the back of the card, it's just got like my name and stuff like that kind of thing, or where I'm supposed to put my name and whatnot. And it's just got some other information. I don't know if I should show too much of the card, as I don't want somebody to be able to, well, use the warranty on the watch that I have, even though I didn't actually buy the watch myself, so I don't even know if I can use the warranty. But either way, I'm not going to show too much of the warranty card. And I am real quick going to go ahead and put it back in the sleeve just like that. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover about the warranty card. So let's go ahead and now, before we take a look at the watch, go ahead and just take a look at the manuals in the side of the, well, watch holder right there. And we can see it just says Casio Module 32303232. And then it just has warranty card, and then it just has Band F Casio. I don't know what that means, but I guess this is like a tutorial on just how to use the band. I'm not sure. I don't think this watch has that sort of band, but maybe it does. I'm not exactly sure, I will acknowledge. I'm a bit confused about this, but hey, Weeball, you know what I'm saying? Weeball. Got the warranty stuff as well in here, and then we've got the manual as well, which I have already read over just a little bit, so I know how to set the time on this watch and everything like that. But do not take this video as if I am an expert. I certainly am not. This is my first real time really messing around the watch, besides just messing around with how the times work and everything like that kind of thing. I did mess around with that just a little bit before this video. But let's go ahead and now take a look at, not the watch stand. The watch stand itself is pretty basic, nothing too insane. It's basically just there so if somebody wants to sell this watch outside of the box, they can. Just black plastic, nothing particularly interesting. Let's go ahead and get the watch all off just like that, if I possibly can. And while I have held this watch like once in the past, I didn't really pay too much attention to what the weight of it was actually like. What I can say though is that the weight of this watch is nothing crazy, but it certainly is not light. This is certainly a heavier watch than not. It's got a nice, satisfying weight to it, and I do really like how weighty this watch feels, as weighty watches are to my personal preference. Taking a look at the front of the watch right here, we can see we get a nice circular sort of what's the right way of putting this? A nice circular front, not a dial, because this is a digital watch and the dial portion itself is actually not circular, it's only semicircular, but the watch itself is a circle, which I think looks really nice and is definitely a different look than the super classic G-Shock squares in my personal opinion. But at the very top in gold, we can see it just says G-Shock right there on the black resin background. And that's one other thing to cover as well. This watch is entirely made up of black resin. The watch face itself right here is black plastic / resin. The band is black plastic / resin, although I think it's more of a resin than a plastic. And all of the details on this watch are either going to be a dark gray, a black, or a gold, as that's the color palette that this specific watch has. As said though, just says G-Shock right there. Looks pretty good in my personal opinion. That is not just printed on there, that's actually inlaid just a little bit. Just says adjust right here next to this button, and there are 4 buttons on this watch as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Just says adjust for this one, mode for this one, just says split and reset for this one, and then just says start and stop for that one right there. And then there is one other button on this watch that is just right there, just right in the middle, and this is the light. Just has a nice G for G-Shock right there, and we can see, just testing the light, that it has the Casio electroluminescent, and it does stay on for a couple seconds after you hit the button. Let's just hit it really quickly and we can see hand is away, light stays on though. I absolutely love the Casio electroluminescent sort of backgrounds a lot of the watches have. Sadly, Casio does seem to be phasing it out a little bit more so than not, which really is a shame, especially since I am a fan of the Casio electroluminescent. There's no better way to read a watch at night than the Casio electroluminescent in my personal opinion, and it really is a shame that less and less Casio watches are having that feature on them. But this one does indeed have that, which is super nice if you ask me. And the backlight itself is very bright when it is a little bit darker than it is right now, and it works very well. I tested it with the lights off when I was at home, and it works fantastically if you ask me. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of the dial though. At the very top it just says illuminator, as of course this watch does need to have a backlight. Just says timer reset, electroluminescence, and then it just says light, and there's like a little bit of an arrow pointing to this button right over here. And then on the other side it just says on off light alarm, alarm chronograph, and that's pretty much all that's going on with the tiny text around the inside. This, I do believe, is an acrylic glass. I should have probably checked on that. It might be mineral, but I do think it is acrylic, as most G-Shocks are from what I know. Some really high-end ones are mineral glass, I want to say. I don't think they actually use any sapphire glass on any of them. You can modify them, though, of course, to use sapphire glass, but that's pretty much what all the gold text says going around the very edges. Just says Casio right there in a gray / white, and then under that it just says water resist 20 bar or 200 meters. Another version of this watch actually says 200 meters, but 20 bar is equivalent to 200 meters from what I know. So yep, that's exactly what that says pretty much. Just says shock resist right there in the middle once again, and we can see there's a bunch of dials and whatnot as well. The shock resist text is just in the middle. Starting off at the bottom, we can see the actual time itself. It says it's currently 8:05, which it actually is. This watch is currently set pretty much to the exact right time. And then above that, we can see there is a seconds counter counting down to every 10 seconds. So we can see, there we go. Now that it's hit 40, it starts going back up every second. So that's a little bit of a second timer right there. That can also be a part of the stopwatch feature if you decide to use that. And then we can also see there's a dial right there. That dial is not a traditional watch, and instead it actually fills up as the minute starts ticking. So after 10 seconds, one corner is going to fill up. After another couple seconds, another corner will fill up, and so on and so forth. And there we go, one corner just filled up because we hit 10 seconds, and then once we get to 60, we're going to have the entire thing filled up, and then it's going to reset just like that. So I guess that is pretty nice if you want to see, okay, it's round about that, and you don't want to look at the exact numbers themselves. If you just want to glance down, that seems pretty nice to me. We can see the date, excuse me, just had a little bit of a burp. We can see the date and everything is just up here, just says Monday, which it is indeed a Monday, and just says 5/19. It is May 19th, and so as such, well, that date is already set accurately. This watch was kindly given to me with the accurate date and time already on it, which I do much appreciate, I will acknowledge. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the watch face itself. Let's go ahead and take a look at the band real quick. We can see the band itself is not a bracelet style band like the watch I'm wearing today. I'm currently wearing my Casio W218H, which has a bracelet style band. This, on the other hand, is more of a classic watch style band with a clasp just like this that you just put on and stuff. It's not like a bracelet. You don't put it on like a bracelet. You kind of just close it over your arm, I do suppose. I'm not really sure the exact terminology that's supposed to be used for this sort of stuff, but y'all know what I mean. And we can see that has a very nice gold to it, just like all the other gold details on this watch. I like the fact that they went for black and gold. I think black and gold look really good together, and this looks great as well. Got a nice little band right there just to make sure everything stays in place. And taking a look at the back of the watch face itself, it just says Casio G-Shock Resist, just right there on the back. Let me go ahead and just actually open this up. I haven't actually opened the band, I don't believe, at all yet. So let's go ahead and just open this up and just take a look at it a little bit more. Just show it to y'all up close and personal right there. Looks fantastic in my personal opinion. Great looking watch. Very nice design. Big watch as well, of course, I do want to say. But yep, just says Casio, shock resist, shock absorbing structure, 3282. Of course, this is the DW9052GBX -1A9, although it doesn't actually say -1A9 on the watch itself. Water resist 20 bar, made in Thailand, and stainless steel back. So overall, pretty nice. This is a very nice metal as well. Some other Casios that are a bit cheaper than that, like the Casio World Time or the Casio F91W, from what I know, use a plastic sort of catch right there, but this one has metal, which is definitely going to last for longer, which is very nice. That is to my personal preference. And overall, I'm really liking the weight of this watch. This watch seems to be really good quality. I'm liking the look of it overall. It's got a very nice sort of modern design to it, yet a little bit retro as well, as there were a bunch of G-Shocks that were made that kind of look like this from the 1990s. So it's got sort of a retro, futuristic, sporty design overall. Got a nice weight to it, good quality. Overall, I do quite like the look of this watch, I will acknowledge. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. The sun is setting behind me real quick, so before I go ahead and actually get this watch all on and let you guys know just what I actually think of it, I do think I real quick want to go ahead and grab myself a little bit of a screenshot for the thumbnail of this video before it gets too dark. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Well, hopefully one of those will do. We will find out. Worst case scenario, I can always grab another one in the future. It's not too big a deal if one of those doesn't work out, but just wanted to grab a screenshot just in case it gets a little bit too dark, a little bit too quickly. Is there anything else I wanted to mention about this watch real quick? Oh yeah, I think one thing I want to go over is just like how to change the time and everything like that. So you just hit the mode button, if I'm remembering correctly, and you can go to alarm and set the alarm and everything like that. And then you can do that by hitting the adjust button, which then turns the alarm on. And maybe I figured this out like last night. Oh yeah, and then so you can change whether the alarm is off with the start and stop time. So I just went ahead and turned the alarm off because I don't use it, but you can turn it on with that. Let's go ahead and go over to the stopwatch, and we can see the stopwatch is just right here, so it's just got like 59 seconds set on it right there, and it's just got the actual time itself at the very corner right there, which is really nice. I like that they actually display the actual time as it's going as well, so that's super nice. And it just says like TA or TR right there as well, so it just lets us know that it's in like the track mode or the time mode right now. Moving on to the other mode, we've got the stopwatch mode right there, and then we just go back to the normal time. Let's go ahead and see if we can hit adjust, and we can see with that we get to the seconds, and then we can just flip through that all the way through there. We've just got the year, so it's currently set to 2025. We've got the date right there, and we've got that right there as well. And just went ahead and set it back to normal, as I don't want to mess anything up, as it is pretty much all perfectly set as of this point in time. But that's overall how you adjust everything. You just hit adjust when you're on the screen you want to be on, and then you just flip around with the other buttons and everything like that, and just set it to your personal preference and set it to how it's supposed to be, I will acknowledge. Pretty easy stuff, nothing overcomplicated, and the 4 buttons definitely do make it a little bit easier than Casio watches with 3 buttons, which can be a bit cumbersome at times. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get my watch that I'm wearing today, my Casio W218H, all off, and let's go ahead and get this G-Shock on, and let's go ahead and get to wearing a G-Shock watch for the very first time. Will this watch look good on me? Will it be comfy? Will I like it? Well, let's go ahead and find out for the very first time, y'all. Man, oh man, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this. Let's go ahead and get it on. Oh man, though, it is a chunky watch. It is a chunky watch. I do like my chunky watches though, so I'm not complaining, but it is a chunky watch. Let's go ahead and get it on to the point where it's comfortable. It's still a bit loose. Wow, this band is huge. I get the impression this watch may not be made for wrists my size. I will acknowledge it is massive on me. I don't mind that though. As I said, I like my chunky watches. But let's go ahead and get it tight just like that. I believe that is about right. And it's not moving around or anything. Maybe I could go one more tighter, but I'm just gonna leave it like that for the moment. Overall, it's massive. It's huge on me. This is definitely a watch, I gotta admit, I would not want to wear with long sleeves in the winter. It is just that big. If I was to wear this with long sleeves in the winter, honestly, my sleeve would be getting rolled up all over it, and I wouldn't be able to ever look at the time or anything like that kind of thing. It is just that big. Like this watch right here, I wear this during the winter, and sometimes with some of the stuff I wear during the winter, some of the times the cuffs on my jackets or my sweaters are a bit like stretchy, and it's just kind of locked to my wrist, and I just have trouble reading the time because this watch is already a little bit chunky. It's a little bit thick kind of thing. This watch is even more chunky, even more thick to a significant degree. I cannot imagine trying to wear this watch during the winter, but during the summer, I think I'm gonna be having to wear this watch because it looks so nice. I really, really, really like how this watch looks. The band feels really nice. It's definitely a different look, or not a different look. Well, it is a different look than what I normally wear, I will acknowledge, but I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say it's definitely a different feeling than what I'm used to these days and what I've experienced before from other resin straps from Casio watches. This strap just definitely on my wrist, and just when feeling it in general, overall definitely feels higher quality than the resin strap on something like, let's say, the Casio F91W. It makes sense. The Casio F91W is a $10 to $15 watch, whereas this is a over $50 watch from what I can tell. So it definitely does make sense that the strap itself is definitely more high quality, and it certainly is much higher quality than an F91W. I'm not saying the F91W is bad quality. This is just better if you ask me. I don't think there would be any risk of this snapping or breaking after a couple years of use, like what happened with my F91W when I wore that for a couple years. Eventually the strap just broke and it just went out. It's a $10 watch, was to be expected, but I don't think I'm going to be having that issue with this band unless I literally beat the crap out of it and start sawing it with a knife, I will acknowledge. Overall though, on my wrist, feels really nice. The buttons are all very easy to get my fingers into and everything like that kind of thing, I will acknowledge. And the nice bezel going around the buttons are going to make it where if my arm goes up or anything like that kind of thing, or something like that, that I'm not actually going to accidentally going to press the buttons, which is something I've had happen with other watches before, where I'm like putting sleeves on and then the button accidentally presses or something like that kind of thing, or I accidentally put the watch into a table, I slam it into a table and the button presses by accident. I don't think this is going to be happening with this watch, which is of course part of the point of wearing a G-Shock. The one thing I gotta admit I really like about this watch is the fact that the light button is just so easy. Casio watches sometimes can be a bit hard to kind of figure out with the light button, because sometimes the light kind of switches side depending on the watch. Like on this one, the light is on this side, but then on some other ones, it's like over here or over here or over here. And it's just kind of confusing kind of thing, I'll acknowledge, especially when you switch watches every once in a while. But with this watch, it's super easy because you just go, ah, there we go. It's now on and I can see everything. It's just right there in the middle. It's super easy, super functional, and just very easy to handle as a whole. The watch is not a confusing, it's not in a confusing place, which is something I really appreciate, I will acknowledge. Overall though, this watch has a really nice weight to it. I'd actually have to say on my wrist, it feels like it is slightly lighter than this watch. This watch has a stainless steel band, but it really doesn't feel that much lighter, like only a little bit in all honesty. Like this still has a very nice weight to it. Like it's definitely a little bit lighter than this one, but not all that much so, which is really surprising in all honesty. And the weight is not coming from the band like with this watch. It's all coming from the actual watch itself. So that is very surprising. But maybe it's got a metal something going on the inside, I'm not exactly sure, but either way, this watch has a very nice weight to it, and overall it's massive on me, but I don't care. I know some people don't like wearing watches that are too big for them, quote unquote. I actually personally really like wearing big watches. I don't have the biggest wrists by any means. I can go like that kind of thing, but I really like big watches. I do like big watches. I think they look super sick, as long as they're not like wall clock size on my wrist. Like this is probably about the max I'd want to go up to in all honesty, but it's a huge watch. I love the look of it. I love the aesthetic of it. And overall, it's very comfy. It's not wanting to shake around by any means. I'm not hearing any noise from it like with some other watches I've had in the past. You kind of shake it around and you hear some noise either from the bracelet or from something else going on. There's no sort of noise from this. I can definitely say now, having worn a G-Shock, very comfy, high quality, and overall just pretty nice watches overall. G-Shock as a whole, based off this one experience at least, is very much what I heard it was. It's a high quality, appearing to be durable watch brand that is known for being comfortable and is known for providing a good quality product at not too high of a price. That seems to be exactly what this watch is. Good quality, seems like it's going to be durable. It didn't cost too much from my research at least, although it certainly was not $15 like an F91W. And it's just a very solid watch overall. Well, I gotta admit, thank you so much once again to Mr. Kilgore for having been kind enough to provide this watch to the channel for me to make a video all about and for me to wear just in general after the fact. I am most certainly going to be having to wear this watch more so than not in the future. I quite like the look of it. It's very comfortable, and I think this is going to be a great summer watch, although I will acknowledge I don't think I'm going to be wearing this watch too much during the winter because it is just that massive, but I think it is going to be an amazing summer watch, and overall just very comfortable watch that is great quality and is a watch I really like the look of. I'm a fan, I will acknowledge. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. How does it look on my wrist? Personally, I think it looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a little bit of a, oh man, can I get the watch? Yeah, I can get the watch back off. I had it tightened so much that it was just a bit difficult. I'm gonna wear it backwards on my wrist real quick because I wanna grab another little bit of a screenshot for the thumbnail of this video before I go ahead and give you guys my official final thoughts. Although I'm sure my final thoughts are pretty obvious though, I will acknowledge, but I'm just gonna do this just real quick. I gotta admit though, I'm a fan. I see why this line of G-Shock watches has an enthusiast community around it, which it does. And overall, based off this one experience, I have a much better impression of G-Shock as a brand overall. And low-key, this makes me want to buy a G-Shock all the more. I'm not gonna lie, this does make me want to buy a G-Shock all the more. I was thinking about buying one before Mr. Kilgore was kind enough to send this one over. And this wearing this watch has convinced me even more that I think one... Oh man, I'm kind of pinching my arm right now with it. But this watch has made me think even more that I want one. I will acknowledge. This watch has made me think even more that I want... Well, not that I just want one, because now I do have one, but it's made me think even more that I want to buy one, like one of the square ones for myself and everything like that kind of thing. I think it's probably going to be a while until I do that because, well, I don't want to buy a watch when I've just started wearing this one. I want to give myself some time and everything like that kind of thing. But now that I do know that I think I can say I like G-Shock as a brand, I won't feel so bad about wearing so I'm getting more all jumbled up. I think I need a sip of water. I'm gonna grab a sip of water in just a minute. But what was I about to say? I need to tighten this a little bit. I loosened it, and then now I need to tighten it. There we go, there we go. Perfect. All right, that's better now. But what was I saying? Let me go ahead and take a sip of water real quick. I'm getting more jaw jumbled up. Oh yeah, I was saying that I think it's gonna be a little while until I actually buy a G-Shock for myself. Just because I don't want to buy a watch immediately after having just received one from one of y'all. Because I want to make sure I wear all the watches I have for a sufficient amount of time, I will acknowledge. There's some watches I certainly wear more than others, but I want to make sure I try to wear every watch, and introducing just another watch into the pool I already have would be a bit too much. So I think I'm going to be waiting on buying a G-Shock for a little while, but having now had this initial experience with a G-Shock, having now had this first experience with a Casio G-Shock, has made me all the more confident that when I do eventually buy a G-Shock for myself, that I am very much going to enjoy it to the fullest extent. That's what I wanted to say, all proper and everything like that. But I think that's pretty much, I'm getting more all jumbled up. I think that's just about all I had to say for this video. Overall, what are my final thoughts on this G-Shock watch right here, the DW9052GBX-1A9? What are my final thoughts on this watch? Do I like it? Do I not? I love it. I don't just like it. I love it. I think it looks fantastic. I am definitely going to be wearing this a bunch this summer, and I think it just looks really good on my wrist. I love the size of it. I love the weight of it. I'm a big fan of the quality of it as well. Feels great on my wrist, great quality. Think it's gonna be really comfortable to walk around while wearing. And overall, I think I might like G-Shock watches based off this one experience at least. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might be a fan. Well, I like this watch. I think those are pretty much my final thoughts right there. What is the rating I want to give this watch? Solid 4 out of 4. I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 4 in all honesty. It's a good looking watch, a great looking watch that is pretty comfy on my wrist, is quite functional as well, and deserves a 4 out of 4. It's a watch that deserves a 4 out of 4 in my personal opinion. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Thank you so much once again to Mr. Kilgore for having been kind enough to contribute this watch to the channel for me to make a video all about. Really do appreciate the support, my man. And thank you so much to all of y'all for watching this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, and my website all in the description down below. Go check it all out. I have my book on Amazon, my merch on Amazon. Go check it all out. You know what I'm saying? I think I mentioned my P.O. box a little bit earlier on the video. That is currently closed, but I may open it again in the future, so do keep an eye out if you are interested in participating in sending something over to my P.O. box. I will acknowledge, but it is closed for the moment. I do want to acknowledge, but yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much to all y'all for watching. Until the next one, stay safe and peace, and have a great one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?